What is going on, guys? It is Ketch back with another video on the channel, and yeah, it's been another interesting weekend of domestic football overnight. Let's get straight into the video. And yes, guys, it was indeed another interesting weekend of football, but it was actually a very hyped up weekend of football, particularly in the Brentford versus Nottingham Forest match, all the more important and critical because of the return of Toney, who is fresh off an 8-month ban for sports betting. So he was putting bets on his own team to win, even though he didn't play in certain games. He was found out by the FA and slapped with an 8-month ban at the back end of last season, and his return came against Nottingham Forest overnight, and he capped off his return in style, scoring a brilliant free kick as Brentford overcame a spirited Nottingham Forest side 3-2 at the Brentford Community Stadium. Brentford also helped ease the pressure on Brentford manager Thomas Frank, whose side had been sitting in 16th place prior to the clash with Nottingham Forest. Ben Mee and Neil Maupay scored either side of Chris Wood's equaliser for Nottingham Forest to ensure Brentford ran out winners 3-2 in the end, and to justify the hype surrounding Toney was not just a flash in the pan. I think the return of Toney will be good for Brentford moving forward as they look to climb away from the relegation places as well. But yeah, in the end, the return of Toney was justified, and it's the result sent the Brentford fans, the Bees as they're known, home happy. Elsewhere, Arsenal demolished a woeful and underperforming Crystal Palace 5-0 at the Emirates Stadium to get their season back on track after no wins in their past 4 games. Goals from a brace from Gabriel Martinelli, Leandro Trossard, and an own goal from Palace keeper Dean Henderson ensured all 3 points went to Mikel Arteta's men as they look to close the gap to both Manchester City and Liverpool in the Premier League title race, which is now even closer than it was before the weekend started. And I think this result for Arsenal will give them the sort of boost they needed. They'd been playing in pretty poor form before they had a 10-day break after their FA Cup exit to the hands of Liverpool, but I think this result will definitely help Mikel Arteta and his brains trust moving forward, so they can plan and prepare the season, the second half of the season I should say, more accordingly moving forward. And I think, you know, the goal returns of Gabriel Martinelli, who had been struggling for form and goals before, will now help Arsenal and their attack moving forward, because when their Arsenal attack fluid, there's not a better side that can go with them. I think the Arsenal attack is probably on par with probably one of the best in the league. I think City and Liverpool's is probably neck and neck as well, so definitely, you know, be very determining to see how Arsenal's attack plays out for the rest of the season, and if they can stay fit and uninjured as well. The result at the Emirates has heaped more pressure on under fire Crystal Palace manager Roy Hodgson, as he would not have expected his side to be dismantled so easily against Arsenal, but things need to change at Crystal Palace. The Eagles now sit 15th place, and Roy Hodgson, who was brought on as a temporary manager during last season, replacing the sacked Patrick Vieira after he had a run of poor form, is now in a similar position himself. Hodgson had been tinkering with a new formation in the cup game earlier in the week, and he tinkered again in the game against Arsenal, and unfortunately for him, he got that tactic got found out against Mikel Arteta's men, and they shipped 5 goals, which is not the Crystal Palace way. They generally have a pretty good record against Arsenal. They have beaten them there in the past, but it was not a good result for Roy Hodgson on the night. The guy is in his late 70s as well. I think it's time, you know, I think this will probably be his last managerial appointment. I know the guy loves to keep managing, but I don't think he's got it in him anymore. He's just too old. The age has passed him. It's like anyone in professional sport. And I said this about Jose Mourinho in my video the other day on Mourinho being sacked by Roma. I thought he was now at the point where he could either have one more managerial appointment or retire. But I think in Roy Hodgson's case, he's got 16 years senior on Jose Mourinho. So I think in Roy Hodgson's case, I think he will probably retire at the end of the season if he keeps Crystal Palace up. But if their results don't improve, the pressure will be on him a lot. It'll be very imminent, that pressure. I wouldn't be surprised if he's sacked from his position before the end of the season if the results continue the way they are. Over in the Bundesliga, and Xabi Alonso's Bayer Leverkusen have gone 7 points clear at the top of the Bundesliga after they managed to sneak past RB Leipzig in the last minute 3-2 at Leipzig as well, and it was Piero Hincapie's 91st minute strike that ensured all points would be going back to Leverkusen as well. And even though Leverkusen are 7 points clear at the top of the Bundesliga, they do have 2 games in hand on their nearest challengers in Bayern Munich. And I guess the question is will Bayer Leverkusen finally end Bayern Munich's decade of dominance, I should say, of Bundesliga success? I don't think they've been beaten since Jurgen Klopp's Borussia Dortmund all the way back in 2013-14, I believe it was. So it's a very long time since they've been knocked off their perch in the Bundesliga. But will this be the season for Bayer Leverkusen? I know Dortmund came close at the back end of last season, only to throw it away on the last day of the season to Bayern Munich that time as well. I guess only time will tell. But however, what I would say as well is spare a thought for Harry Kane. The former Spurs striker moved to Bayern Munich in the summer window for a massive club move. I think it was over 100 mil to Bayern Munich at the time, and he's joined Bayern Munich obviously to win trophies and compete at a higher level. Even though he was competing at a higher level with Spurs, I don't think he was able to get through that glass ceiling. I think with Bayern Munich he's able to perform at a much better level in probably a bit of a weaker league. The competition is not as high as it is in the Premier League, but the fact he's moved to Bayern Munich is the fact that he wants to win trophies. And I'm just thinking, what if this is a season that Harry Kane moves to Bayern Munich and they don't win the Bundesliga, they don't win the DFB Pokal, the German Cup, and they don't win the Champions League? I think that'll be a major failure for him, because he moved there to win a major trophy. And will Bayern be upstaged by other teams, particularly Bayer Leverkusen in the Bundesliga? They still do have two games in hand, so I guess it's still technically in their hands, but I guess we just have to wait and see. But that has been the end of this video, guys. Please do like, share and subscribe so you never miss another upload, as it means a lot to help this channel grow, and I'll see you with another video very soon. Have a good day, guys, and good weekend. See ya. Bye bye.